This is such a miracle week in the counting of the Omer that I don't know how to start. On the first day of this week, of the fifth week, the Hod week, is Pesach Sheni. Included in this week is 3 days of fasting, because actually it's today. Today is the 18th of Iyar, and that's the day before Lag BaOmer. Today is the day that the manna, the man, started to fall. Also, 3 days before Lag BaOmer, Shimon ben Yohai, when he died on Lag BaOmer, or he had his marriage, it's the marriage of the soul, he started expounding the secrets of the Torah. And Lag BaOmer represents the secrets of the Torah. And it's an opening into the Torah. Because in a certain sense, it's the revelation of the Torah. The secrets of the Torah come first, and then its manifestation comes later. This is a great secret, by the way, and may represent the concept of Helem Vehetzi, whole and a half. That the whole was the secrets, and with its half, it's the actual application into practicality and physicality. Because whole and a half of 33 is 50, and that's the day of the giving of the Torah. Another thing all this occurs in the week, in the fifth week, because this represents the 5 dinim. And the beginning of a thing is its end, as far as I'm concerned. And that's the same with love at first sight. When you see the person, that's it. And that's why you have to be careful about what you look at and who you look at. Because there's a complete tie-in to whoever you look at, forever. It goes into some sort of a Kazakh record. This all occurs in the fifth week because there are 5 dinim, and once these 5 dinim are exercised in Hod Shebahod, quite frankly, the dinim are over. It's actually over on the 33rd day. So this is a great mystical week. And a lot of things have happened to me this week. Because Lag BaOmer to me is the opening to the godly soul. The godly soul is what we're really interested in. And that's the uniquely Jewish soul. It's not a question of the animal soul, which is rectified during the 49 days of this excursion. But the opening, the Pitach, the opening to the godly soul, occurs on the 33rd, and that's what you see. You see this godly soul, which is represented in everything that happens on Lag BaOmer. Even the death turns into a marriage, because we're talking about the soul. We're talking about the soul of the body. The body may die, but the soul doesn't. And I forget already what I've said in these other videos. I personally think the soul doesn't even sleep. When you go to sleep at night, it's your body that sleeps. The animal sleeps. But the soul still communicates with Hashem. Only on certain rare occasions does the soul sleeps, and that soul sleep, and that's the Tardama, where Chava was taken out of you. Or there's another Tardama where Avraham, something happened. So the point of the matter is, the soul never sleeps. This is an opening to the godly soul that occurs on Lag Bomer. And this whole week with Man. Man is this godly soul. And so is Pesach Sheni. Because Pesach Sheni is for somebody who's been on a long journey. Again, that's the godly soul. So all these 5 days, from Pesach Sheni to Lag BaOmer, and even more so, because some traditions do Lad BaOmer, the 34th day. And in some cases, there's even a 3-day fast in here. And I don't know when this occurs. So Lad BaOmer, 34th day, the Omer would occur on Yesod Shabbat Hod. And that would be the culmination, because then everything filters down into the Malkuth Shabbat Hod, which would complete the 5th week. And in a certain sense, the weeks may they relate to something else than the days. Because something that has come to me is that now I've been opened up to the 7 heavens. And what's above the 7th heaven is a chair. And that chair is the giving of the Torah on the 50th day. So these 7 weeks it's almost like an opening to me of the 7 heavens that I just got opened on today. And this concept of man that falls today. Because all my food is manna. The godly soul doesn't enter till the 33rd day. So the whole revelation is the godly soul on this 33rd day. And that's the interest that one should have, is in the godly soul. And today is the 32nd day, it's a day of manna. And on the first day of this 5th week was Pesach Sheni, all related. Because on Pesach Sheni you eat matzah, which is like man. And now I go into something that's really deep that I discovered this week. I discovered that the Aleph in the Anoki is the self with the Ani, the ego. And this is a beautiful time to discover this, because the Anoki represents the godly soul. The Kaf in there represents the godly soul. So it's Ani is the animal soul, and Anoki is with the godly soul, and that's with the Shekinah within it. And in a certain sense, the Shekinah represents the godly soul within. But this first commandment is that Anoki bring you out of the land of Egypt, and that is the godly soul. You're bringing him out of the godly soul, which is a slave in Egypt. Bringing him out of the animal soul. And that's why they use Anoki. because you're bringing out of the animal soul. And this is the unique Jewish soul. So sure, Jews are like other people, but there's an Anoki for the Jew, and that's the self. That self is imposed as a circular concept inside a mandala, like in Jungian thought. And for me, the self and the godly soul is the circular worlds. They were too strong in the original creations of the world. They couldn't be held in the vessels. So the vessels broke. And so the three lines of man appeared. To me, which is the animal soul. The linear is the animal soul. The circular is the godly soul. That letter Kaf, by the way, is 100 in full. And the relationship between 4 to 1. Because the final letter is a Pei, it's 80, and the first letter is a Kaf, it's 20, comes out to be 100. And this is the animal, this is the godly soul. And the godly soul starts off the ego with the self, and the animal soul with the godly soul starts off the entire Torah and entire 10 Commandments, and starts off the Jewish people with this Anoki. And there's a possibility that that's the only thing that was heard, was Anoki. And that's the only thing that has to be heard. In a certain sense, all you had to hear was the Aleph. But let's assume we heard the whole word Anoki. That's God in His self. And He's leading you out of the animal soul that was evident to you in Egypt, Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is 380 plus 5 letters, 385, and that's the Osea world. Leading you out of the Osea world and into the Yetzirah world, which to me is, well, it's obviously the Ruach, but to me it's also an entrance into Shabbat, and it's into the godly soul. And there are 2 levels of Shabbos, the Yom Shivishi and the Shabbat. And for me, Yom Shivishi represents the animal soul. And Shabbat is the godly soul. And Shabbat has 3 meals, and to me, that's the circle. That's pi. It's not the 3 lines here. There are 3 lines, but pi is 3. Pi represents the circle. And the spiraling worlds. And these 7 heavens that I perceive are circling this world. All around it. It's not just layered like this, 7 heavens above. There's 7 circles. These are the 7 planets. And above that's the chair, or inside of it's the chair. It doesn't matter. And so I get to this now. We're getting to the 10 Commandments and the Anoki. And there's a parallelism here. The parallelism is that the 2 hands are the 10 Commandments, and the 2 thumbs come together. And the first commandment comes together with the 6th commandment. And that 6th commandment is Kaved et Avika ve'et amecha. Honor your father and mother. Kaved is a very great word because it's the gematria is 26, which is Yud He Vav He, which is no different than the letter Aleph that starts off the Ten Commandments, and now as the first commandment, and now Kaved is 26, the expression of the Aleph, which is Yud Vav Yud. And this to me is the most important commandment because my relationship, I'm doing this little sikos here at the table that I ate all my meals with my family, parents and brother. And I still eat here. Okay, and so here's my Hiddush, my innovation for this sixth commandment of Kaved Ava Nima. It says here, honor your father and mother, that thy days, accordingly that thy days may be long upon the land that the Lord thy God giveth thee. La ma'an ya'arikon yamecha al ahadama, so that your days may be long upon the earth, the land, the Adamah, which God gave me. Long upon the land. Now, what's the reason that they be long upon the land? You mean it's a reward for honoring your parents? That's the way it's brought down. So if you honor your parents, you get a reward of long life, long days. See? Long days. The answer to that is long days are only for you who honor your parents to raise their souls after they're dead. And this is nothing more evident than on Lag BaOmer, because it's the death of Shimon ben Yochai. Shimon, my brother, by the way. And it's a marriage. So what's this long life that I've been granted? I've been granted the opportunity for these days to raise their level in heaven, to raise them in the seven heavens. Because this is the difference between living and dying. Once you're dead, you can't raise yourself. You need somebody living to raise up those sparks. So when you raise up those sparks, that comes from a living person. And that's what I've been granted. I've been granted to still live in order to raise up their levels in heaven. Because after they died, they can't do it. And this is the real honoring the parents. You honor the parents after they're dead. They don't need the honoring now. They're 35, 50 years old. They need it now when they're dead. So when they're dead, that's the time to raise them up. And that's what I'm doing now, and trying to fulfill the sixth commandment, which ties into the first commandment. And it has to do with the godly soul. When they out of the land of Egypt, which is the animal soul, they're out of the animal soul, they're in the godly soul. The animal soul's in the grave, the Adamah. And so that's what happens now in this, for me. For some reason my time is going to be ended here on the 20-minute mark.